Hey guys, first I just wanted to start this video off by saying a massive thank you for all of the love and support in my last video. All of your guys' prayers, like I said in my last video, we have definitely felt them and we have continued to feel them. That was a really hard video to put together, as I'm sure you can imagine, but your guys' love and support has just been so overwhelming and we are so grateful for it. It's been over a month since everything happened and we're still kind of in that place of trying to figure things out with our doctors as far as like what happened. So I'm gonna kind of fill you guys in on, you know, where we're at right now with all of that. I kind of briefly wanted to talk about some things in my last video because you guys had a lot of questions, also a lot of like suggestions in like trying to help us figure out what could have went wrong. So there was some questions on the morphine. I had mentioned in my last video that they had given me morphine for the pain. They did tell me that, you know, morphine, obviously, if you don't have to take morphine in pregnancy, don't. It's not safe for, you know, drug use during your pregnancy, but in an emergency situation administered by doctors, it is a safe option. I wouldn't have chosen to have 3 doses of it. They had actually given some of it to me in my IV, and I didn't know that they like had continued to give it to me until afterwards. But once I knew that it wasn't working, in my mind I was gonna like reject anymore, because why keep taking it if it's not working? As far as did the morphine cause what happened, it definitely didn't. They had given me the morphine, the first dose of morphine, right before I had the ultrasound. And I showed you guys that ultrasound in my video, and it was a very odd ultrasound because they couldn't find his head, and he also wasn't moving. And that seemed very odd to me in the moment, like where is his head? Like I've never heard of an ultrasound where you can't find the baby's head. But in the moment I was in so much pain. It was like 5 a.m. We were going on no sleep. I was physically tired, emotionally tired, mentally tired. So when the doctors are like telling me that everything's okay, like we just completely trusted them. And when they said something, we didn't question it because we were like, they're doctors, they know what we're doing, we're in a hospital, we're in safe hands. But when we had our appointment, we had it last week with our doctor, that was the first thing that I wanted to show her, was the video of the ultrasound, because it was just so odd to me. And she looked at it and I remember the look on her face, like kind of just shocked. And she was saying that the reason why you couldn't see his head was because his head was already working its way down the birth canal. And so when we got that ultrasound, I had already started to deliver him, like his head was in my birth canal, which is why the ultrasound was from here down to his feet, which that makes a lot of sense. That makes perfect sense. That also makes sense why he wouldn't be moving, because, you know, his head is going down the birth canal, his body is still in my uterus. Obviously you wouldn't be like doing jumping jacks in that moment. He did have a heart rate of 170. So they kind of just took that as, you know, his heart rate's good and we see him in the uterus, so everything looks great. I don't know how the ultrasound tech, the radiologist that read the ultrasound, and the ER doctor, why it went through 3 different doctors and none of them questioned where his head was. The ER definitely did a lot of things wrong. So we still don't know like 100% what caused it. Sometimes, you know, when something like this happens, like you're able to have a clear answer, like this is what happened. I feel like in our case, it's, especially with all of the like different stuff that I have going on, health issues, it's like, well, it could have been caused by this or it could have been caused by that. But we got the pathology report back and we have gone over it with both of my doctors. And there's a lot of really big words in there that I've never heard it before. We actually had a nurse reading part of it over the phone with us and she couldn't pronounce anything. She's like a nurse, like that was her job. But basically the conclusion is that it was my blood clotting disorder. This blood clotting disorder makes it to where the placenta isn't fully getting everything that it needs. And so then the baby isn't getting everything that the baby needs. So I was on baby aspirin before I got pregnant. And the hope is that the baby aspirin is enough to kind of solve that issue. But then when they were doing my blood work later in my pregnancy, they saw that the issue was still there. And so they put me on blood thinner injections. So when I was like 11 or 12 weeks, I got put on blood thinner injections that I would get every day, but it was probably too late. Like I needed to be put on that in the very beginning. And so the baby just wasn't getting everything that it needed because my placenta wasn't getting everything that it needed because of my blood clotting disorder, which is caused by my lupus. So eventually my body, knowing that the placenta couldn't support a growing baby, it just set me, my body just sent me into labor. I don't know if all of that makes sense. It's like a lot of medical talk and I'm trying to like put it in my own words, but hopefully that makes sense. Also, there was, my battery is blinking, so I'm gonna make this quicker. There was an issue in the very beginning of the pregnancy. The pregnancy had implanted in the far, far, far left corner of my uterus. So in the beginning of the pregnancy, all the way up until 12 weeks, they were doing ultrasound after ultrasound to see if the pregnancy had implanted like just inside of the fallopian tube or just outside of the fallopian tube. And finally at 12 weeks, they were like, okay, we can confirm that the baby is growing into the uterus and everything looks fine. But now knowing that we miscarried, they're kind of wondering if, because the pregnancy was like as far left as it can go, if maybe the placenta just didn't have enough room to grow. And so it kind of stopped growing past a certain point when it knew it didn't have room to grow much further, which would eventually cause me to go into labor with the placenta not growing, because my placenta was smaller than what it needed to be. So it could be that this happened because of where the pregnancy implanted. That is an option. But it's mostly looking like it was caused by my blood clotting disorder, which to me makes the most sense. So that's where we're at right now with the answers, you know, and figuring out what happened and why it happened and all of those things. We're talking a lot about the future and what our plans are going forward. If we want to try again, if we don't, if we should, if my body can handle it. But I will save all of that for a different video. But I just wanted to update you guys and let you know what we know. I'm definitely in a very different place than I was in my last video. The month of October was a very healing month, and it was a month that I was determined to find the faith and gratitude. So far, November is more of an angry month, where I want to, like, do you ever want to just break things? Because that's where I'm at. But right now, I am just kind of taking it one day at a time and allowing myself to kind of go through the different emotions that I need to go through. Trying to do what I can to be in a more positive headspace about everything, because it's so much better being in that space. So yeah, but anywho, thanks for watching. Again, thank you for all of your support. We will continue to kind of take you guys on this chapter that we're in right now. Anywho, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. It's Christmas time. So the month of October was so healing for us because it was fall and we just dove into family traditions and go into things like pumpkin patches and stuff like that to really just distract us and just focus on family and traditions and just feeling the warmth of the season. And it was so healing. It was so healing for us. So Christmas is gonna suck. I was so excited to be pregnant during Christmas. I was gonna have like a tummy and everything. So that's gonna be hard, but I'm hoping that we can find healing in the season again. So I do have videos that I'm gonna be putting out of Christmassy things. I was even thinking about maybe doing Vlogmas. But we will also have more videos out on this subject as they come. So anywho, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.